what do you have?
Turner syndrome.
Turner syndrome, yeah. Dorothy has Turner syndrome. And with that, what that means is she has a missing X chromosome. And with that comes many different medical conditions as well. And it's, like many other syndromes, it's on the spectrum. So it can mean she has, just one thing or many things. So with Turner syndrome, she has many medical conditions that go along with that. What's your name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy. And my name's Debbie. So we found out at our 20-week ultrasound, we were going to find out if, we were having a girl or a boy. And we found out we were having a girl. And the ultrasound tech noticed that her measurements on her long bones, her arms and legs were measuring short. And that she had fluid buildup around her head and neck area. So with that, the doctors, there's no way to determine unless we got tested, but they were suspecting Turner syndrome, which only affects females. And the most common, like 99% of girls, have short stature. So that's where the shortened measurements were coming from as well. So with Turner syndrome, there are common things that can be wrong. Although it's a spectrum. So things are more common in girls with Turner syndrome. So the most common I already mentioned was short stature, which is like 99% of the girls with Turner syndrome. Heart conditions are another, and Dorothy does have a few congenital heart defects, and we follow with cardiology. She has not needed heart surgery, although that is also fairly common, obviously, with any heart defects. So she has not needed surgery yet, thank goodness, but we do follow cardiology for her heart defects. She also has some kidney defects, which we actually didn't find out until about a year ago. And the reason we found out about that is because around 2, she started getting high blood pressure, which is very common, obviously, with heart conditions. But her cardiologist, it was being controlled with medication, but her cardiologist kind of thought that after about 6 or 8 months it should have gotten under control, and it wasn't. So he sent us to a nephrologist to check out her kidneys as well. And we found out that there are some complications with her kidneys as well. So with a combination of that and her heart conditions, she also has hypertension. And that's probably something she will just have her whole life, but is controlled with medication. She also has, I gotta go through the list in my brain. Okay. So we have hypertension, kidney, heart, the short stature, and with short stature comes, obviously you don't have to do this, but it's a decision you make early on whether you want to give them growth hormone. So the short stature in Turner syndrome actually does not come from a lack of growth hormone. It comes from this shock gene, which for some reason causes the short stature. But they have found out that growth hormone works. Even though they don't have a growth hormone deficiency, giving them growth hormone does give them that extra boost. So that's a decision of whether you want to do that with your child, and then when you want to start. And in general, you will give them growth hormone until their early teens, like when around puberty or whatever. So we did decide to start her growth hormone at the age of 3. So she's been doing it for about a year, and it's been working great. it has affected us, myself and her father, a lot. I would say him more so during the pregnancy, right after we found out. So, like I said, we basically found out about halfway through pregnancy, and so half of my pregnancy was laden with, researching about Turner syndrome, worrying about what might become of it, because it is a spectrum disorder. So we had no idea what she would have, if she would have heart conditions, if she would have hearing problems, if she would have some of the physical attributes, any array of things, worrying about all of that. I think my husband took on a lot of that stress during my pregnancy, and he tried hiding it from me. He tried taking on that stress. So he definitely had much more anxiety during the pregnancy. I suffered from pretty bad postpartum depression and anxiety. Who's to say if it's because of her medical conditions? I'm sure it was a contribution. But I still suffer from anxiety, and I take medications, I do therapy and everything to kind of work through all of this. Because it's a lot. I also decided to stay home from working. I was a teacher. I took a year maternity leave to stay with her. And after seeing all the, doctor's visits and medication she needed and feedings and all that kind of stuff, ended up being a great idea. And I decided after my maternity leave to stay home. But that, I'm sure, also was a contributor to my anxiety and depression, and just a complete, not only just becoming a mother, quitting my job, having a daughter with medical conditions and needs, and it's a lot. It's a lot, to say the least. And it took me, the first year was really rough. I'd say it probably took me about 2 years to finally be more open about it, to kind of try and see the positives about it, and just kind of go with the flow. Like, this is what it is now. This is our life, and it became a routine, and just keeping track of all these things, fighting with insurance companies, and scheduling doctor's appointments, and going. Most of her specialists are in Philadelphia, at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So yeah, just going through all that, and it's been tough. It's still a struggle. It always will be, and we know that, but there are a ton of positives. For one, even just despite her, medical conditions and stuff, and you just met her for, 15-20 minutes, she's a character. I love her personality. She is great with people, and honestly, sometimes a characteristic of Turner syndrome is they have, social issues and, talking to people, and she certainly is not that. And I don't know, I think I credit some of that to going to doctors and doing all of these things. She's not afraid of the doctor. Sometimes she says, she's scared to do something or whatever, but she gets a blood draw every 3 months, and we learn to, she's so brave and strong, and there are so many positives about her, and it has certainly made all of us stronger, and seeing her resiliency has taught us as her parents a lot, for sure. And like you said, she never stopped smiling.